Okay. So
After 6 episodes, we figured it out.
synchronized, we're locked in. And let me tell you about this TikTok idea I have, which I'm not going to follow up through because I don't want to go on TikTok.
Okay.
It's called the Crack Cam. And what it is it would just be my account and it would be me putting the soda or whatever canned beverage I have right next to the speaker and then cracking it open, taking a sip, and then rating it.
I love that. When you called it the Crack Cam, I definitely thought it was going to be like a World Star-esque.
Oh, you were on drugs.
On drugs cam?
Yeah. I mean, if someone
Soda's a drug.
Yeah, if you want to spin it, you want to do a spin-off, a little crackhead spin-off.
I mean, it really gives you room to grow and evolve the brand, which is great. Yeah. There's a lot of altitude to that idea. You know, sky's the limit. Why won't you do it?
I just don't want to go on TikTok. I should do this. I should definitely give it because I don't want to like post crowd work clips because I feel like that's a sin and you shouldn't have to be forced to do that as a comedian. But I also don't want to burn material.
Do you understand that what we do is crowd work?
Yeah, but it's intentional.
This is controlled crowd work.
It's intentional crowd work.
Yeah, intentional.
And
crowd
it's also
work.
It's like controlled chaos. Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah, but I'm just like here to tell you that like you can do whatever you want and there's no rules. I hate when people are like, well, you can't do this because it's lame. It's like, bro, you're lame for putting barriers on art.
Here's the thing, is that if you want to do crowd work, that's fine. However, we have once a week, 5 minutes, maybe 10. I don't want to spend 2 of them asking some asshole.
It's true.
What he does for a living.
If you're doing 45 minutes a night, though,
that's something
crowd
different.
work is a great way to kind of stretch things out.
Sure.
Maybe get some new tags or fresh tags for jokes that you already have, make them a little more regional. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Stage time is precious and you should use it wisely. If you're only getting on stage at most half hour a week total, with all your little 5-minuters, 10-minuters in there, crowd work maybe isn't the best.
No,
but if you got 45 minutes, I say rip.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of 45 minutes in our show, June 29th, baby.
June 29th.
If you're watching this, you like us.
I'll save Crack Cam for the
there you go.
The show. It'll be a liquid death.
Ben will be debuting his first TikTok recording session for Crack Cam on June 29th.
And nobody will know what I'm doing.
Live on stage. Because some people are going to watch this and come to the show.
Well, this isn't going to be the first episode, though.
No, but we're going to release a bunch at once.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought we were going to go one at a time.
No, I want to release 3 or 4 right away.
Okay.
So if people like it, which if you're here, you do, because this won't be the first one on the list.
Yeah.
Thank you. Then people have like a couple to watch and listen to.
Oh, well, in that case.
And then we'll be bi-weekly after that.
Right on.
Yeah. That's why I want to get started at recording so early.
That's fair. That's a good point.
So yeah, June 29th, Eau Claire Improv, a Jar of Pain, live and in person, live and on purpose, jarofpain.com.
Matt, what time is it?
Jar of Pain, what time is it? Jar of Pain, what time is it? Jar of Pain, what time is it? Jar of Pain, what time is it? Jar of Pain, what time is it? Jar of Pain, what time is it? Jar of Pain, what time is it? Jar of Pain, what time is it? And we're back. And I want the audience to know it is rained / thunderstormed every time we've recorded, except for one time.
God wants us to have a chill vibe with this. That's what we're taking away from it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Well, Ben, what is this? This is the Jar of Pain show.
This is the Jot Pod. This is the Jar of Pain podcast. You don't like that.
I hate that, but it's growing on me. Yeah. This is a show where we answer your questions submitted at jarofpain.com.
And then thrown into this jar.
Put them in a jar. We answer all the questions without any preparation. We have no idea what's in there.
And we just riff.
And I can't promise you that we're right, but I can promise you that we're passionate.
Amen.
And I truly believe life is pain,
But pain can be moved out of the way so you can live your better life. And we get pain out of the way one question at a time here on the Job Pod. I want to vomit.
Let it roll off the tongue. You know that thing you say where you're like, we can't promise you it'll be true, but it'll be passionate?
Yeah.
That reminds me of a thing I like to tell people when they're like, you're going to do this, right? And then I'll go, I promise you nothing, but guarantee everything.
Interesting. I think that's the wrong approach if you're getting money. But
yeah.
Here's what I've learned in my short but illustrious professional career.
Sure.
This is good advice. Career advice. Ding, ding, ding. Career advice. Don't be afraid to be the dumb guy if it solves the problem eventually. So if you're on a team and you're trying to fix something or solve a problem, the only way to get a great idea is to start with a bad idea and then build off of it. And a lot of people are very nervous to look dumb or stupid. I got no problem. So I say, this is the worst idea of all time. Let's start there.
Here's the thing. I don't have a problem with that either. What I do have a problem with is throwing out idea, because that's how you get problem solved. You throw out ideas and then people judge you for that idea. I don't like that. And let me tell you a little story. Okay. And my mom will probably listen to this. So if you're listening, Mom, I'm bringing up the bat story. Okay.
I hate bats. Like the animal?
Yeah. The animal.
Oh, I hate them.
Yeah. Reason for Batman's existence and the reason why we had a rough couple of years a few years ago. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what happened was I was asleep. It was a school day. I was asleep in about 8th grade, and my mom and sister wake me up at like 1 a.m. and they're like, Ben, there's a bat in the house. You got to help us get this bat out. And it was literally like flying around the kitchen, flying around the living room.
I hate them. They're so erratic.
It was irrationally wing flappy. Okay. And so they're like, well, how are we going to get it? We could use a fishnet. And I don't know if anyone here has had a fishnet. They have huge holes in them, big enough for a bat to get through. And I was like, no, that's dumb. The fishnet, they're just going to go right through there. So they're trying that, they're trying this. And then I was like, what if you take, and mind you, 8th grade, just woke me up.
Yeah, 13, 14, not mature enough for this responsibility.
No, but they're asking me for my help. And I'm like, well, what if you take 2 screens, like 2 window screens, because we were like cleaning the house. And I was like, what if you slap them together and trap it? And then that's how you get the bat out. And then they looked at each other and then looked at me and they're like, Ben, that's stupid.
Oh, Ben.
Spoiler alert. Guess how we got the bat out of the fucking house? Took 2 screens, slapped them together. I took 2 screens because those losers were trying like to catch it with milk jugs or some bullshit.
What?
It didn't work. I don't know. It doesn't matter what they were doing because what I did worked and they ridiculed me for it. And I don't like that.
Well, quick bat tip.
Yeah.
They're blind.
Yeah.
They use echolocation. So the screens is a great idea because their echolocation goes through the screen so they can't see it coming. But if you wave like a paddle or something, they can avoid that. Tennis racket is kind of the ideal. We had a bat in my house when I was a kid, and I was similar to you at the time, the man of the house.
Yeah.
And so me, my mom, and my sister were like running around, and I was so scared of this bat. And finally, it like perched on the wall, and my mom took a Swiffer mop and like pressed it against the wall as hard as she could.
Oh shit.
So hard the Swiffer mop broke off.
God damn.
And it was a jagged metal edge.
Yeah. And
the bat then escaped and flew around more. And then finally we like threw a blanket at it and got it on the ground. And I was like a caveman with a spear. I was so distraught.
Yeah.
And I just kept like pummeling this bat. And my mom had to be like, it's dead. It's dead. It was like those movies where you're like some guy's beating somebody he really hates and he like doesn't stop. Yeah. And they rip him off. That's what it was like. I hate bats.
Well, pro tip, if you want to ever just like stun a bat for long enough for you to catch it, you can just tell it it's your fault. Your parents died in that alleyway.
Oh, that's good.
And then the bat will cry.
This is a bad joke.
It's a Batman joke.
I'm gonna leave it in.
Thanks. That's what I'm here for.
All right.
Let's you know what else I'm here for? Your
I want to solve the
questions.
world's problems right now.
All right. Well, this is the world's first problem that needs solving. I've been dating my boyfriend for 6 years and waiting for a ring for 5. What would you do?
I would have a very adult conversation about where this is going.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I think it's wild that you would expect a proposal if you've never talked about marriage. Like, that's a conversation that should happen. You don't have to ask them to marry you, and that's a proposal, but you should know.
Yeah.
I love videos of people like getting proposed to at like basketball games and
Yeah.
then they get shot down.
I've never seen those videos.
There's a compilation on YouTube.
Oh my God. That has to be brutal.
Well, it's just, I understand that you want to make the proposal special. And so you withhold the actual proposal until a special time.
Yeah.
But you have to kind of know that they're interested. It's okay if someone says no.
Yeah.
But you should have had a conversation long before that. That's like, hey, are we in this thing? Like, this is something I see really going long term. Do you feel similar? It's very possible they don't. And that's also okay. But it's wild to me to think they're like, I've been with my girlfriend for 6 years and I just think it's time, without ever talking to her about it. So I'd say Miss Question Asker,
Or Mr.
waiting for a ring for 5. I've been dating my boyfriend for 6 years and waiting for a ring for ... 5. What would you do? Have a conversation. And if you're scared to have that conversation, maybe stop waiting for a ring.
Yeah. Yeah, but also don't propose at a basketball game.
Don't do it in a public place. There's one where a guy's like in the middle of a mall food court.
Oh, dude.
And that's like also the worst place. Like, baby, I'm going to get you some Charlie's cheesesteaks.
You get turned down outside of a Charlie's cheesesteaks? Dude, that's suicide material.
And they come over, they're like, hey, I'm sorry that happened. Did you want a sample?
Did you... The lady at the Eau Claire Kobe's just like, it's got a teriyaki chicken platter for you.
That is maybe the most successful long-standing restaurant in the area. They rip all the time.
Yeah.
It's even when the mall's dead, they have a line. And it's good. It's simple.
Yeah.
It's good every time. It's the same thing every time.
Teriyaki, rice. Now the strat is go to Chinamax for the fried rice. And then get the chicken.
No, that's not my move.
What's your move?
Double chicken. I like the veg.
Mm-hmm.
Double chicken with the veg. And then on the side, not a lot of people know this, they have homemade chili oil and chili crunch oil.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And it's in a little, it looks messy, but it's really good.
Yeah.
And you put that stuff on there. It's crunchy. It's spicy. It's oily. It's delicious.
Mischief managed. Second question of the world's problems we're solving here in the Jop Pod. Why don't you call your mother more?
That one could be from my mother.
That could also be from my mother.
Why don't you call your mother more? I mean, I think as you get older, it's harder to. You have your whole life. You know, you got all these things. And as you get older, your parents get older too. I call my mom once a week.
Yeah.
How often do you call your mom?
I try and visit her once a week.
Oh, you get a visit in there.
Well, because she lives in town.
Mine does too.
Oh, well, okay.
I know. I probably should see my mom more.
Yeah.
But it's just such a hassle.
Yeah.
You go over there and then I'm lazy. So once I sit down, I'm there for 45 minutes. I like to orbit something.
Yeah.
I don't like to just pop over and say, hey. I like, hey, why don't I come over? It's a Saturday and I'm like, why don't I come over for coffee this morning?
Yeah.
I like that much more.
See, that's what I do. Is on Saturdays, I'll ask if she wants a coffee and I'll pick her up a coffee and then we'll just hang out and talk for like 2 hours.
See, that's nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will call my mom once a week. I see her a couple times a month.
Yeah.
There have been times when I haven't seen her for 6, 7, 8 weeks.
You want to know a lyric I wrote about my mom that made me cry?
Sure.
I wrote, you watched me grow old, now I do the same. And your eyes are crowed and your hair is gray.
God.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, Ben.
I wrote that and I was like, oh my God, that was way more true than I expected. And I haven't been able to finish that song.
Man, parents getting older sucks.
Dude, I get it from a kid's point of view, like them watching us grow, because now we have to watch them and it's like different.
But they were also growing at the same time.
Yeah.
Which we don't really think about. It is hard to watch your parents get older because at a certain point, things start to, responsibilities start to flip. And that's a very difficult transition.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've experienced that yet.
No.
Going for Christmas, my sister-in-law and brother got us all tickets to the dinner theater in Minnesota.
Sure.
Family trip to watch the Jersey Boys show. Fantastic show, by the way. Lots of fun. Was had by all. I drove.
Yeah.
Because I trust myself more than anybody on the interstate. And like my dad giving me that responsibility was very tough for him because he kept wanting to be like, you should go here. You should go here. Or what's the gas at? And I literally had to talk. I had to turn to him and go, hey, I'm the captain now. You don't need to worry about anything. I'm the captain now.
You go full Captain Phillips on him?
That's what I do. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's kind of my my phrase to my dad when he tries to be a dad. Understandably so. He's been a dad for most of my life. All my life, I guess. But now that I'm older, like, hey, we can book reservations. I can book a hotel. Like I'm better. Truthfully, I'm better at that than he is. So it's like, hey, I'm the captain now. I'm driving. I'll figure out accommodations, things like that. But it's very tough. It's very tough for him. But he's getting older and slowing down and living in a growing, increasingly fast world. At some point, you got to take over because I'm just going to make better decisions. And it's hard.
Must be hard. Having a dad. In your life. Should we give Panera's charged lemonade to children? Is there a thing with Panera's charged lemonade?
You heard about this?
I didn't hear about this, and fill me.
People died.
Oh.
Like 3 people died.
Well,
one of them a kid.
What kind of child are we talking about? Are we talking like a shitty kid, or are we talking like a run-of-the-mill kid?
Let me give you a brief history on the Panera charged lemonade. Because for some reason, this is a story I followed.
Okay.
Panera released a charged lemonade in their general mix of fountain sodas.
Yeah.
Right? And that's common.
Yeah.
You get a Minute Maid in there. It wasn't clearly marked as having caffeine.
Yeah.
Just called charged lemonade. What you'll find now is there's signs.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't just that the lemonade had caffeine.
Yeah.
It's that for their large size, it was 400 milligrams of caffeine, which is exactly the amount you're medically able to have as an adult without overdosing on caffeine.
300 is in a monster can.
It's actually 200.
Just kidding. 200.
300 is a bang.
Wait, is it?
Now, some of the monsters now are 260.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a caffeine guy, so I know about this stuff.
Okay.
So standard Rockstar Monster, 200 milligrams. Cup of coffee is about 60. They now have like super ones that are like 260. Bang is 300. Those little yellow caffeine pills called like Vivid or something like that. Those are 200 milligrams a piece.
I wonder if you butt chug one, it'll hit the blood faster. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely it will.
Well, would it though? Because it's got to get to your brain. Your brain needs the caffeine.
Once in the blood, it's quick to the brain. The stomach is what slows things down.
Yeah, you're right.
Your butt, though, right in. Because there's the vessels are really close to the surface. It just absorbs.
Brown Street to Brain Street.
So people died from this.
How many?
Like 3 people died.
Okay.
And one of them was a kid. Because kid couldn't handle it, obviously, because he's a kid. And he probably had some underlying condition. But the other 2 people that died also had underlying conditions. But because it wasn't clearly marked as a super caffeinated beverage, Panera is liable for that.
I'm not going to lie. Panera's PR cleaned up on that because I didn't catch any of that.
It was a big deal for 4 days.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because they still sell that shit.
Yeah, but now there's a little sign.
Isn't
There's a little trifold sign that's like, charged lemonade contains large amounts of caffeine.
Contains the largest amount of caffeine that your body can physically handle.
Yeah. Well, but the difference is, let's say you get it for work, you're sipping on it all day. That's different.
Also, Panera with the hat trick, like 3?
That's true.
With the one drink?
They took out a lot of good people.
Dude.
Good U.S. American citizens.
Bonk, bonk, bonk.
Yeah.
That's an octopus on the rink in Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a hat trick in Detroit. They throw an octopus on the rink. I don't know why. They just do.
It's interesting I knew about Panera and you knew about Detroit's sports traditions.
Well, I followed hockey, so yeah.
Yeah.
And I think in New York, one of those teams, maybe Nashville, they throw a catfish on the ring.
I've only seen it when I would play hockey games on like Nintendo.
Yeah.
And if you get 3 goals with one guy, they throw hats on the ring,
That's a hat trick.
which is
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
that was fun.
Yep, that's accurate.
Yeah. All right.
So yeah, Panera, should we give it to children?
You shouldn't. Give me the pain.
How do I convince my girlfriend of 6 years to go on with the paleo diet with me? Is that the meat one?
Paleo is like what a caveman eats.
So meat and berries and
Meat,
nuts.
berries, nuts, things you could forage.
Yeah.
I would imagine some vegetables are included in that if they were available at the time. Some greenery, some moss-y types things.
I ain't eating moss.
How do you convince your girlfriend?
Can't convince me to eat moss.
Why can't you guys just live in harmony and she can have bread? That's my question.
Because maybe he wants to not eat bread, and if bread is in there, it would make it more difficult for him. So if he can just have someone, a partner with him to work together and also not eat bread, that is why.
But another thing you need to figure out is this a lifestyle change or is this a temporary, I want to lose 30 pounds before our trip type thing? Because you'll shed weight going keto, paleo. Like, is it a temporary thing?
Yeah.
If that's the case, align with your partner, have
Yeah.
a conversation. If it's a lifestyle change, again, you got to talk to your partner, but also understand that they can make their own choices. If it's this serious to you that you need to switch to paleo, I would take a look in the mirror before you ever have a conversation.
I mean, how do you like, hey, babe, you want just meat tonight and like a few raisins?
No, you just go, I've been reading about this paleo diet. I think it would work really well for me. What are your opinions on it? Have you heard about it? Let me tell you about it. And then you educate a little bit. And then you just go, would you be interested in this? And then if they go, I love bread, I'm not doing that. You go, okay, well, I just want you to know, because like if I'm cooking, that's what it's going to be. So if you want to cook for you just plan ahead. You're going to have to cook for yourself. For going out, I'm going to want to make sure there's options for me.
Yeah, and if you eat a piece of bread in my presence, I will murder you.
Yeah, I just have the conversation.
Just have that. Let the ground rules be established.
This question, very similar to the last relationship question. Communicate. That's it.
Oh, yeah. We answered that an episode or two ago.
We answered it 2 seconds ago.
No. That was a
about the
different one.
marriage thing.
But then before that, we also had what's the most important thing in a relationship, and then we said communicado.
Very true, and I stand by that.
Yeah.
I believe this is a occurrence where we are absolutely right.
We are reinforcing what we were correct about, because we here may not be true, but in this instance are true and are passionate with this truth.
And I've been burned by lack of communication before. I don't want it to ever happen again. It cuts.
You know what? I don't want. We've been answering so many.
Hey, if you feel it, don't answer it.
It's so many index cards. Let me get to a bottom one.
Well, we haven't had a live show in a
It's a
while.
little bottom.
June
boy.
29th, we will have one again.
Wow, way to plug that. Oh, this one's scrolled up like a
Wow.
like a Greek papyrus scroll.
Like it got tied to a raven's toe.
Quick, what does it say from Stark Landing? What is your first memory? That's not as funny as I thought it was going to be. First
What
memory.
is your first memory?
My first memory that I can clearly, I can always go back to consistently is I had to have been like 3 or 4. I'd have to run this past my mom, but we lived in a bar, we lived above a bar in Burlington, Wisconsin, which if we were to go down to Burlington, I could show you where. Like, I remember that building.
I'm not fighting you on that.
I know. I'm just saying, like, this is
I
how
believe
vivid.
you.
This is how vivid it is in my brain. I remember the living room being huge. But then when I think about it, I was like, I've been in those kind of like studio apartments before. The proportions, you know what I mean? Like the proportions of a child not understanding.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like the house seemed bigger than it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just remember that apartment and doing things in that.
How old were you then?
I had to have been at under 5.
I remember under 5, I had a bottle for a long time as a kid.
Yeah.
And that says a lot about me. But on my 4th birthday, my mom said no more bottle. But I remember having a bottle in my bed at least for a few years. I think my earliest memory, well, even when I was like a really little kid, one time I was fishing and I had a life jacket on and I went to cast it over my head.
Yeah.
And I was just learning to cast and my hook hooked onto my life jacket.
Oh, okay.
And I cast myself into the lake. That might be the earliest one.
That's funny.
It might be. It's like out of a like Three Stooges movie.
Yo, not to get off this thought, but did you see? You probably didn't. Did you see Terrence Howard on Joe Rogan? Literally,
we can't be a podcast that talks about other podcasts. Ben.
Okay, no, but this is relevant because literally the first 44 seconds, Joe goes, "So how'd you get here, Terrence?" And then Terrence goes, "My first memory was I was in a dream, and it was one of those dreams where when you're falling, you hit the ground, and right before you hit the ground, you wake up." He's like, "And I had that dream, and I woke up, and I was in my mom's womb."
My mom also claims she remembers being in her mom's womb.
Wild.
But here's where it gets itchy.
Is your mom Terrence Howard?
No, here's where it gets itchy for me.
Okay.
She said her mom was wearing a blue dress. How would you know?
That's womb life, baby.
But my mom says she remembers being in her mom and she could hear like muddled voices. She says she remembers that.
Just hears Charlie Brown voices, Charlie Brown parents.
Yeah, like through, because, you know, you're going through a lot of material.
Yeah, you're going through a belly. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't remember anything like that. I mean, I really think, you know, some of the memories at my old house, like the first house I lived in, you know, we moved away from there when I was 5. So anything there is pretty early on. So yeah, I think the hook in the life jacket is because that's a vivid memory to me.
Yeah.
Like I remember being very scared.
That's so funny.
Like I don't remember the actual moment, but I remember the fear.
That's why I don't fish, because
And my mom, my aunt pulled me out of the lake by like the back of my life jacket. I was just a little shithead kid. You know, you could lift those kids like nobody's.
Yeah.
You're like what, 25 pounds?
Great. You look like a dog in a harness.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next question. I saw mommy kissing Santa Claus. Should I tell dad?
Yeah. Communicate. Next question. I'm sick of dumb questions. Give me something good.
All right. Tell me about your first sexual experience. Then Jar doesn't let us down.
It's always about cum.
It is. It all comes back to cum.
I'm going to take this question in a slightly different direction.
Let her rip.
I'm not going to do virginity story.
Okay.
But I think sexual experience, if you're touching parts,
okay,
I think that's a sexual experience.
Okay.
And mine was, I was 15 or 16.
Yeah.
And we were drinking at my friend's grandma's house. My friend's grandma would go to Florida every winter, and my friend would house sit.
Yeah.
And her grandma was just a really chill lady.
Yeah.
Pretty on the times. And so she was like, hey, if you're here checking on things, or you ever want a place where you and your friends can hang out without any parents, like I trust you, just, you know, don't burn the house down, but you can hang out here. You can watch a movie or whatever. We did that a lot. It was actually great because we had, you know, we were able to have a place where we could just be teenagers.
Just be kids. Yeah.
And yes, we did have some crazy ragers there. By ragers, I mean like drink a bunch of beer and there was like 15 people.
Someone threw up. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
We'd order pizza and the toppers guy would come in. We'd give him a beer. Classic teenager shit, you know?
Yeah.
But I had a crush on this girl, and like this was a party where like everyone hooked up.
Right.
Like there was like 6 of us and everyone just coupled off.
Yeah.
Which was pretty fun. But we didn't know what we were doing. It was just hand exploration.
Yeah.
You know? And I remember her asking, she goes, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't even know what to do. I don't even know what to do.
I don't know what's happening here,
I've seen it in movies, but this is different.
It's like if you put like pizza ingredients in front of me and expect me to make it. I don't know what's happening.
I don't know how this leads
I'll
to.
touch it. It feels soft. It's fine, but I don't know anything else besides that.
Well, it wasn't soft. I think I was a wreck for 3 days. I was so jazzed up from that. I was hard for 3 days after that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yep. What about you?
Yeah, I will also go past the virginity and just first time touch stuff, and it was.
We can't do that.
You can because one.
I'm gonna beep it.
Good luck finding the. As you can beep it again.
Okay,
You're not going to.
It's gonna cost you $5 a beep.
All right. Well, now that there's a limit on it, I won't say anymore. Yeah, it was the first time I ever touched a hoo-ha.
How was it?
I don't know at that age.
You know what I remember?
What?
It's a lot lower than I thought.
Yeah.
That's my first thought.
Here's the thing.
I was like, it's got to be in here somewhere.
It's like you drop your phone down the car seat.
Yeah, that's
like, what's going on?
That's exactly how it. I was like, whoa, this thing's low. I had no idea.
I'm not gonna lie, I still feel like that sometimes.
It's got to be down here somewhere.
What's going on here? Is it moving?
Dude.
Is it ducking me right now?
Ben, that is a hilarious bit that you should do where you talk about your first sexual experience and you're like, the first time you touch a vagina, it's like losing your phone under the seat in your car. Like you just keep reaching lower and lower, and you're like, it's got to be in here somewhere.
You got like half a forearm down there, but you don't know what's going on.
And then you actually decide to go through the back seat, and so you can get a different angle at it.
Yeah. And it's the same thing. It's the same. You're still like, what's going on? I don't know. Yeah, it was about that experience where I was just like, I don't know what's happening here. Also, it was okay. So
how old were you?
I had to be like, I lived in Tennessee at the time. I was like, it's 2006.
So you were around the same age as me. 15, 16?
No, I was 2 years younger than you. I had to be like 12.
That's young.
12 or 11. Yeah.
Just playing doctor.
We were just messing around, and we both like, it was like, neighborhood girl, neighborhood boy. We were just kind of like flirting with them. She introduced me to what a Puerto Rican is. And let me tell you, if you see a Puerto Rican and they're white, do not say they're white. They will correct you, and they will correct you fiercely.
Okay.
And that was my introduction into hoo-has and Puerto Ricans. So
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Problem solved.
There we go. Question answered.
Lower than you think.
Lower than you think. Also, the question wasn't, where's the vagina?
Might as well have been.
Might as well. How many more questions are we gonna rip here?
2.
2? Okay. Including this one?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Should you stand or sit when you wipe? Interesting.
That's a really interesting question. I'm a stander myself.
I am also a stander. I know people who sit.
That's crazy to me.
That's wild.
You know what's crazy to me? Some people go back to front.
I might back to front.
Wait.
Hold on.
Wait, you stick your hand under?
No. I go around.
Yeah, so you go
around? Oh, wait, no, hold on. No, you're right. I go around and then up.
Yeah, you go front
away.
to back. You go, yeah.
I'm going away.
Some people go toward.
That is wild.
My dad does that.
I think that's a guy thing. I don't think girls do that.
Well, hopefully not, because all that shit's getting in.
Exactly.
It's like I said, it's lower than you think. It's closer to that butthole than you think.
It's a lot closer. Fun fact, that's how they measure gender in nature, how the taint size.
Interesting.
Taint size, smaller taint, female, bigger taint, male.
Huh. I stand. I can't imagine sitting.
Because then
you're crouched?
And also, if you're in a public bathroom, sometimes that water's higher than you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's higher than you think.
It's higher than you think.
Sometimes lower than you think. Sometimes higher than you think.
And then that's weird. Stand, or it's illegal.
And you gotta check, make sure you're not bleeding.
And you make sure, yeah. Also,
do you look at it
every time?
I look at it every time.
Every time.
I want to know what I'm working with.
That's wild. That people who don't wipe and look, those are the same people.
How do you know you're done?
Those are the same people who don't get their taxes taken out in their paycheck, and they just pay it all back at the end of the year.
That's so true.
That is exactly who that person is.
You got to be thorough.
That's wild.
Because the only way to know when you're done wiping is when there's no more poop.
No more poop.
And the only way to know is to look.
You got to look, and you got to check for healthy poops.
You have to look.
Which is what makes me like dumb down like every celebrity. I'm like, we all look at our shit at the end of the day. So
Yeah, it's true. Very good question.
stand. Let's make this a good one. What kind of last time you were like, give me a good question. Say it again. Manifest that.
Oh jar, please give us a good question to answer that we can just knock out of the park and then go get tacos together feeling high. I want to be hard for 3 days.
Fuck, I want to be hard.
Please,
so
Jar.
fucking hard.
Please give us a good one.
What's your best quality?
I don't know. I think it's quite subjective, don't you think?
I think not only subjective, but also it's like it's a bit egotistical to ask me what my best quality is. Also,
But you know what? Let's take this time to toot our own horns. There's not a lot of times you get that ability.
I mean,
And we're not the one.
I'm gonna lean forward.
Lean forward. We have been given the opportunity to toot our own horns. Let's not waste it. It's not often that you get an opportunity to like say what you think you're good at without being insecure about feeling like an egomaniac. Do you want to go first or you want me to go first?
I'm just doing a little ASMR right now for the listeners.
Yeah, I'm going to cut that out.
Okay, I'm sorry. Toot my own horn. You know what? You're right.
Let's take the opportunity to gas ourselves up.
Gas ourselves up.
And if I agree with you, I'll even tell you so we can gas each other up too.
I would say
It's not punctuality.
Here's the thing. I usually pride myself on being punctual, but
when you come to the podcast, you're always 8 to 10 minutes
I'm
late.
8 to 10 minutes late, and I am sorry for that.
I go through so much work to make sure I'm ready at 5:30.
I know, and I'm so sorry, and I'm glad you're ready at 5:30.
And we're communicating, which is
what makes our friendship and relationship great. Bing. My best quality is I am risk taking.
You're a risk taker.
It takes a lot to do shit, and you got to be either dumb enough or stupid enough. And those are two different things. I can't define them. I don't know why. I'm just ripping. I'm just riffing from my tummy. I'm Tokyo Riff right now, right from my tum-tum.
Yeah.
And to me, that feels like two different things. All right. You got to be dumb enough or stupid enough to go on stage and say crazy stuff. You got to be dumb enough or stupid enough to just do comedy. You got to be dumb enough or stupid enough to talk about your sexual experience.
Mm.
And that's the best quality because it means I'm not afraid. I'm willing to pursue what I want because I don't give a fuck.
I like that.
Thank you.
It's hard for me to say that my best quality is funny, although I think a lot of people would say that.
Yeah.
I think it goes further than that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this as understanding that this can be both bad and good qualities, but I do think it's my best quality. I think I'm intelligent.
Yeah.
I think I'm smart.
You're smart and you're street smart.
I have both.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time on the road.
Yeah.
Now I can be dumb too, but you know what's weird about being dumb? And it was interesting when you said like stupid and dumb, they're different. I think they are different. I really can't define it. If I'm making a mistake, it's usually on purpose because I'm getting lazy and I know I'm making it and I've just decided to run with it. It's very rare that I do something without thinking about it.
Yeah.
But again, I think my intelligence is my worst enemy at the same time. But I think so many of my good qualities are wrapped into the simple fact that like I'm an intelligent person and I know how to problem solve. I pretty much anything I want to do, I know how to make happen if I just work on it.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of people like that. Like I trust myself more than anybody when it comes to things. That could be a detriment too, because sometimes I don't know how to delegate. But I think I'm intelligent. I think that, and there's a lot of bad that comes with that, but there's a lot of good too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think I'm smart. And it's taken me a long time to like say that. because it feels like I'm bragging, but actually it's hell. I gotta deal with all you dumb fucks all the time.
you morally, intellectually inferior peasants.
Do you know what it's like to be me?
You stupid.
I have to finish your sentences because you can't get there quick enough.
You dumb yokel.
Do you know what that's like for me?
You understand the crossy bears?
You start a sentence, I know where it's going, and I want to finish it quicker because your inefficiency angers me.
Oh, that's Jot Pod.
That's been Jar of Pain.
That's Jar Pain. Jarro Pain.
What time is it? Pretty good. All right. That was good.
Jar of Pain, what time is it?